Hi, this is AJ. Welcome to the mini story for Roach Vacation. Let's get started. There was a roach. She was a very busy roach because she had her own radio show. What was there? There was a roach. Was there a roach or was there a fly? There was a roach. There wasn't a fly. There was a roach. What kind of roach was there? There was a busy roach. Busy. Was there a relaxed roach or was there a busy roach? Busy. There was a busy roach. Was she very busy? Yes, she was. She was very busy. The roach was very busy. So there was a roach who was very busy. What was her name? Her name was Andrea. Andrea, the busy roach. Was her name Alan? No, her name was not Alan. It wasn't Alan. Was her name Blaine? No, her name wasn't Blaine. What was her name? Well, her name was Andrea. And what was Andrea? She was a roach. Andrea was a roach. What kind of roach was she? She was a busy roach. Was she a very busy roach? Yes, she was. She was a very busy roach. So was there a cat? No, there wasn't a cat. There was a roach. Her name was Andrea. Andrea was very busy. Why? She was busy because she had her own radio show. Did she have her own TV show? No, she didn't have her own TV show. Did she have her own TV show or did she have her own radio show? She had her own radio show. Whose radio show was it? Whose was it? It was Andrea's. It was Andrea's radio show. And what was Andrea? She was a roach. And why was Andrea busy? Because she had her own radio show. She was busy because she had her own radio show. Who was busy? Andrea. Andrea was busy. Was George Bush busy? No, George Bush wasn't busy. George Bush was lazy. Andrea was very busy because she had her own radio show. Her radio show was very famous. Was her radio show famous? Yes, it was. Her radio show was famous. Was it popular? Yeah, it was popular. It was famous. Her radio show was famous. Whose radio show was famous? Andrea's. Andrea's radio show was famous. What was famous? Andrea's radio show. Andrea's radio show was famous. Was she a roach or was she a dog? Well, she was a roach. Andrea was a roach. How many people listened to her show? Millions. Millions of people listened to her show. What did they listen to? Her show. They listened to her show. Whose show did they listen to? Andrea's. They listened to Andrea's show. Did they listen to Andrea's TV show? No, not TV. They didn't listen to Andrea's TV show. They listened to Andrea's radio show. How many people listened to her show? Millions. Millions of people listened to her show. Did millions of roaches listen to Andrea's show? No. In fact, no. Not roaches. Millions of roaches didn't listen to her show. Why not? Because most roaches don't have radios. Roaches don't have radios. How many people listened to her show? Millions. Millions of people listened to Andrea's show. Not roaches. Did roaches listen to her show? No, they didn't. Roaches didn't listen to her show. Did thousands of people listen to her show? No, not thousands. How many people listened to her show? Millions of people listened to her show. Her radio show was very famous. But Andrea was unhappy. How did she feel? Unhappy. She felt unhappy. Did she feel happy or did she feel unhappy? She felt unhappy. Who felt unhappy? Andrea. Andrea felt unhappy. And what was Andrea? A roach. Andrea was a roach. Was Andrea excited or was Andrea unhappy? She was unhappy. Why? Why was Andrea unhappy? Because she was too busy. She had to work too much. Did she work too little or did she work too much? She worked too much. Who worked too much? Andrea. Andrea worked too much. Did she play too much or did she work too much? She worked too much. Did she have to work? Yes, she had to work. Why did Andrea have to work? She had to work because she needed money. Was it necessary to work? Yes, exactly. It was necessary to work. She had to work. Had to. Necessary. Had to. Necessary. She had to work too much. It was necessary to work too much. Who had to work too much? Andrea had to work too much. So Andrea, the person, had to work too much. No, not the person. Andrea, the roach, had to work too much. Was she happy about working too much? No, she wasn't happy about working too much. She was unhappy about working too much. Andrea was super busy all the time. Was she super busy sometimes or all the time? Well, yes, all the time. Andrea was super busy all the time. Every day she got up at 5 a.m. When did she get up? She got up at 5 a.m. Did she get up at 6 a.m.? No, she didn't get up at 6 a.m. Did she get up at 4 a.m.? No, she didn't get up at 4 a.m. When did Andrea get up? She got up at 5 a.m. Did she get up at 5 a.m. one day or every day? Every day. She got up at 5 a.m. every day. Well, when did she leave work? She left work at 11 p.m. Andrea left work at 11 p.m. When did she get up? Well, she got up at 5 a.m. And when did she leave? 11 p.m. She left work at 11 p.m. Did she leave work at 5 a.m.? No. What did she do at 5 a.m.? At 5 a.m., she got up. What did she do at 11 p.m.? At 11 p.m., she left work. Then she drove home for 1 hour. What did she do for 1 hour? Drove home. She drove home for 1 hour. Who drove home for 1 hour? Andrea. Andrea the roach drove home for 1 hour. How long did it take to drive home? It took 1 hour to drive home. It took Andrea 1 hour to drive home. Did it take Andrea 2 hours to drive home? Or did it take Andrea 1 hour to drive home? It took her 1 hour to drive home. Andrea drove home for 1 hour. She usually ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. Finally, when did she go to bed? Well, she ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. Did she end up going to bed at 6 a.m.? No, not 6 a.m. She ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. When did she end up going to bed? She ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. Finally, she went to bed at 1 a.m. What did she do at 11 p.m.? Left work. She left work at 11 p.m. What did she do at 1 a.m.? She ended up going to bed. And what did she do at 5 a.m.? She got up. She got up at 5 a.m. She left work at 11 p.m. She ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. Who ended up going to bed at 1 a.m.? Andrea. Andrea ended up going to bed at 1 a.m. And what was Andrea? A roach. Andrea was a roach. What did Andrea do? She had her own radio show. Her job. She had her own radio show. One day, she was talking to her best friend. Who was Andrea talking to? Her best friend. Andrea was talking to her best friend. One day, she was talking to her best friend. She said, "I can't go on like this. I want to relax." Could she continue working? No, she said, "I can't go on. I can't continue like this." Did she want to continue working? No, she didn't want to go on. She didn't want to continue. She said, "I can't go on like this. I can't continue like this. I want to relax." Who couldn't go on working? Andrea couldn't go on working. Who wanted to relax? Andrea wanted to relax. What did she want? To relax. She wanted to relax. She said, "I can't go on like this. I can't continue like this. I want to relax. I want to just hang out and do nothing all day." Who wanted to hang out all day? Andrea wanted to hang out all day. Did she want to work all day? Or did she want to hang out all day? She wanted to hang out all day, do nothing all day. Why did she want to hang out all day? Well, she wanted to hang out all day because she was very busy. Was Andrea a roach? Yes, she was. Andrea was a roach. What did she want to do all day? Hang out. She wanted to hang out all day. Did she want to work all day, or did she want to hang out all day? She wanted to hang out all day and do nothing. What did her friend say? Her friend said, "You need a vacation." What did Andrea need? A vacation. Andrea needed a vacation. Did Andrea need a job? No, she didn't need a job. She needed a vacation. Who told her that she needed a vacation? Her friend. Her friend told her that she needed a vacation. Did her friend tell her that she needed money, or did her friend tell her that she needed a vacation? Her friend told her that she needed a vacation. She said, "You need a vacation." And so, Andrea went on a vacation. She called a travel agent and booked a flight to exciting Kansas. Did Andrea go on vacation? Yes, she did. Andrea went on vacation. Where did Andrea go? Kansas. She went to Kansas. Who did Andrea call? She called a travel agent. Did she call her friend? No, she didn't call her friend. She called a travel agent. She booked a flight to Kansas. What did Andrea book? She booked a flight. She booked an airplane. Did she book a train, or did she book a flight? She booked a flight. Did Andrea get a reservation for a flight? Yes, she got a reservation for a flight. She booked a flight. Who booked a flight? Andrea the roach. Andrea the roach booked a flight. Where did she book a flight to? To Kansas. She booked a flight to Kansas. Why did she book a flight to Kansas? Because she needed a vacation. She needed a vacation. So, she booked a flight to Kansas. Why Kansas? Because roaches like Kansas. Roaches really like Kansas. When she arrived in Kansas, she went to a roach motel. Where did she arrive? In Kansas. She arrived in Kansas. Who arrived in Kansas? Andrea. Andrea arrived in Kansas. Did she arrive in New York City? She did not. She didn't arrive in New York City. She arrived in Kansas. After she arrived in Kansas, where did she go? To a roach motel. Did she go to a hotel or did she go to a motel? She went to a motel. What kind of motel did she go to? Roach. She went to a roach motel. Where was the roach motel? In Kansas. The roach motel was in Kansas. Who arrived in Kansas? Andrea arrived in Kansas. When she arrived in Kansas, where did she go? She went to a roach motel. When did she go to a roach motel? When she arrived in Kansas. When she arrived in Kansas, she went to a roach motel. Why did she go to a roach motel? Well, obviously, because she's a roach. She went to a roach motel because she's a roach. But there was a problem. Was there a problem? Yes, there was a problem. What was the problem? The problem was the motel was booked solid. Did the motel have a room? Or was the motel booked solid? Unfortunately, the motel was booked solid. Was the motel full? Yes, it was full. It was booked solid. The motel was booked solid. What was booked solid? The motel. The motel was booked solid. Which motel was booked solid? The Roach Motel. The Roach Motel was booked solid. The clerk said, "I'm sorry, we are booked solid. We have no rooms." Who said, "I'm sorry, we're booked solid"? The clerk. The clerk said, "I'm sorry, we're booked solid." Did Andrea say, "I'm sorry, we're booked solid"? No. Andrea didn't say that. The clerk said that. Where was the clerk? At the Roach Motel. The clerk was at the Roach Motel. The clerk at the Roach Motel said, "I'm sorry. We're booked solid. We have no rooms." The Roach was very tired. So she grabbed a cab and went to another motel. Did she get a plane? No. She grabbed a cab. Did Andrea get a taxi? Yes. She grabbed a cab, a taxi. Cab, taxi, cab, taxi. She grabbed a cab and went to another hotel. What did she grab? A cab. She grabbed a cab. She grabbed a taxi. Where did she go in the cab? She went to another motel. How did she go to another motel? How? Well, in a cab. She went to another motel in a cab. Did she go in a train or did she go in a cab? She went in a cab. Andrea went to another motel in a cab. Unfortunately, it was also booked solid. Was the other motel booked solid? Yes, it was. The other motel was full. The other motel was booked solid. Now, Andrea was worried. How did she feel? She felt worried. She was worried. Was she happy or was she worried? Well, she was worried. Who was worried? Andrea was worried. What was worried? Oh, the roach. Right? The roach was worried. What is Andrea? Andrea is a roach. Was she worried? Yes, she was. She was worried. She wanted to hang out and relax on her vacation. But instead, she was very worried and nervous. Was she relaxed? No. Did she want to be relaxed? Yes, she wanted to be relaxed, but instead, she was worried. She went to another motel, and then another, but they were all full, all booked solid. Andrea spent all day looking for a hotel with a room. How long did she look for a room? All day. All day. She spent all day looking for a room. Did she spend all week or all day looking for a room? Not all week. Andrea spent all day looking for a room. She traveled all over Kansas. Where did she travel? All over Kansas. Did she go all over Kansas or did she go all over New York? Well, Kansas. She went all over Kansas. She traveled all over Kansas. Why? Why did she travel all over Kansas? Well, because she wanted a room. She traveled all over Kansas looking for a room. Who traveled all over Kansas looking for a room? Andrea. Andrea traveled all over Kansas looking for a room. She was exhausted. She was very, very tired. She was exhausted. Was she excited or was she tired? She was tired. She was exhausted. Why was she exhausted? Well, because she spent all day looking for a room. She spent all day traveling around Kansas. So she was exhausted. Finally, at midnight, she found a hotel with a room. She paid for the room and went to bed. When did she find a room? At midnight. At midnight, she found a room. Did she find a room at noon or at midnight? Not at noon. She found a room at midnight. She paid for the room and went to bed. Who paid for the room? Andrea paid for the room. And when did she find a room? At midnight. She found a room at midnight. The next day, she didn't get up early. The next day, did she get up late? Yes, the next day, she got up late. She didn't get up early. She got up late. Why did Andrea get up late? Well, because she was exhausted. She was very tired. So, she didn't get up early. She got up late. She slept in till 3 p.m. When did Andrea get up? She got up at 3 p.m. Did she sleep in till 3 p.m.? Or did she sleep in till noon? Well, she slept in until 3 p.m. And why did she sleep in till 3 p.m.? She slept in till 3 p.m. because she was exhausted. And who slept in? Andrea slept in. When did she sleep in till? She slept in till 3 p.m. When did she get up? 3 p.m. She slept in till 3 p.m. Was she exhausted? Well, before she was exhausted. But after she slept in, she felt good. At last, she was able to relax. Was she finally able to relax? Yes, at last, finally, she was able to relax. What was she able to do at last? Relax. At last, she was able to relax. Who was able to relax at last? Andrea was able to relax at last. Her vacation finally worked out. Was her vacation finally successful? Yes, it finally worked out. Was her vacation finally good? Yes, it finally worked out. What finally worked out? Andrea's vacation finally worked out. Whose vacation finally worked out? Andrea's. Andrea's vacation finally worked out. Did it work out finally? Or was it terrible finally? Well, it worked out. It finally worked out. How did Andrea feel at last? At last, she finally felt relaxed. Why did she finally feel relaxed? Because her vacation worked out. Finally. Finally, her vacation worked out, so she was able to relax. Okay, that is the end. Listen to this mini story many times. See you next time. Bye.